Hello, welcome to the Running Trader. Okay, this short little video is all about trading the Forex market for 20 pips a day. You just need one simple strategy and it's easily done. Strategy I use is the London breakout strategy. So here we've got the chart, the pound against US dollar. These are 5-minute candlesticks. Simply what you do is you highlight the Asian session, highs and the lows of the Asian session, which this is all the Asian session here of trading. And for me here in the UK, that runs from midnight to 8 o'clock in the morning. So this is from midnight to 8 o'clock in the morning, 5-minute candlestick chart. Now, as you can see, it's a very, well, it was very narrow until we get this 5-minute candlestick here, which brings it right down. So we've got a very wide Asian session range. Normally it's about 20, 30 pips, 40 pips max. But because of this, and the reason we had this big drop in the pound here was because of the UK CPI report, which is a report that came out in the UK, and it's about the price of consumer goods. Okay, and as you can see, it was a little bit less than forecast, so the pound drastically dropped. Okay, um, so that's the pound against US dollar, but you can also trade the euro against the US dollar on the breakout as well. Now both pairs are correlated, which means they move in the same direction, but in this instance they didn't because of the news report. News report pound isn't going to affect the euro, which is trading against the US dollar. So we look at the Euro USD, the Asian session, as you can see, very, very narrow, only about 19 pips. And that broke out the box first. So what I did was I bought here. I probably should have bought there, but I was actually, funny enough, working on my YouTube channel at the time, and I didn't quite catch it at the top there. But it was only a pip, so it wasn't too bad. But I wasn't particularly confident. The reason I wasn't particularly confident is because my first two trades in August have been losers, and the reason is there's not a lot of trading volume during the summer months, so it can be pretty flat. So the breakout strategy doesn't always work anyway, and specifically during the summer. So far, I haven't said that July was a good month, but August so far hasn't been particularly brilliant. But I have to stick with the system, and so I went with it. And what I do is I set a limit for 20 pips. I'm hoping to get 20 pips with 15 pip trading stop, which means once it moves in my direction, the stop will move up, and I don't risk as much. And this is what happened. It started to move up. Bear in mind, I wasn't watching it because I set it, and I don't, watch the screen. I let it go, but I wasn't particularly hopeful. Bear in mind, I had 15 pips, £12 a pip, potential risk of 180. But that I can afford to lose. But having said that, I'd already got two losers in a row. I was hoping, maybe, but I wasn't particularly confident. But as it started moving up, obviously I got alerts on my phone to say trailing stop had moved from 15 pips down to 12, down to 10. Once it broke even, I thought, okay, well, I've got nothing to lose now. Just let it run. If it loses, if it comes back down again, I haven't lost anything. Not a winning trade, but I haven't lost anything. So, I've stopped the bleeding, so to speak. But it just carried on going on up. And as you can see, it closed off here at 11,024.4. 20 pips, £12 a pip was £240 profit. And I opened at 8.15, and we're looking at that 10.20. It's about 2 hours trading. As you can see, it went up a bit more, probably about another 9, maybe 10 pips. But you can't always get all of the trade. And I wasn't being greedy. I was aiming for 20 pips, and I didn't think I'd get any. If you compare that in contrast, if we go back to the pound against the US, where I opened the Euro US trade, it's the same time here. And as you can see, we're still in the middle of the box here. And where I closed off the Euro US at 10.20, as you can see, the pound against the US dollar is still within the Asian session. So they don't necessarily move exactly the same, as you can see. And that was all because of the news report. And as you see, it didn't really do anything. And then at 1:30, there was another news report. This time it was the US's turn to do the CPI report. And as you can see, that's why you got this big range here on this candlestick here, which it didn't really affect to the extent of coming out the range because it stayed in the range. And now at the end here, it's about 7 o'clock in the evening now, it's live chart. But if we go back to here, the Euro US, which I did trade, but you can see yet again we have almost identical candlestick, and as you can see, it then started to go back up again. But the range on this candlestick it's absolutely crazy in 5 minutes 36. and we're down to what, 40. It's about, so that's something like 30 pips, which is a lot for 5 minutes. See, it's gone up again, and now it's come back past where I took profit. We're back here at, let's say, about this live chart about 7 in the evening. So these news reports, as I mentioned in previous video clips, I tend not to trade them, but because I was already in the trade, and certainly the one, the pound US, that had happened before I went to trade, but we had nothing happen. So even though the pairs are correlated, they haven't done exactly the same due to the news reports. Now, the news reports I get from forexfactory.com. And this is forexfactory.com, and as you can see at 7 a.m. here, we had the red box. Now the red box, you see, hover over it, high impact expected. Okay, you click on the file and it says change in the price of goods and services purchased by consumers, and it came in at, what was it, 2.2, now for 2.3, and that's why the pound went down, because it was less than what expected. And then we move on down, we got 130, we got the US, they had the core CPI and CPI MM, CPI, so there was a lot going on. And yet again, it shows you what the forecast was and what the figures were. And that's why we had the change, obviously, in the patterns here of the Euro US and the pound US. And also the thing about the Euro US was I was very skeptical that it would actually get up to my 20 pips. The reason being, we go to the daily chart, look on the daily chart, the last time it broke through to sort of that height was back on January 2nd, and we're looking at what it was, 11:0, yeah, it's about, where are we? We're about 11:041, 11:041. I got 11:024, so it's the second highest price of the year so far. I think that's where we are currently at the moment. Let's look back to, I don't think that's changed. If we look back at 7 o'clock this evening, yeah, it's come back down again. So I knew it have to probably hit the yearly high, and I'm thinking there's just not enough trading volume for that to happen. But you see, the market doesn't know that. The market will do its own thing. So sometimes you have to be confident in the system. Yes, I had 2 losers, but then I got a winner today, £240 profit, £12 a pip. So obviously, sometimes, you can't, you can never second guess the market. You just have to go with it. And it worked today. But, certainly Euro US, that was a very good trade, but it would not have worked on the pound US today. And even though you can do both a London breakout, there are slight differences. And obviously, one of the things I look at is obviously this. If there's such a big gap here and now, I can't put a trading stop in, and I'm entirely likely going to break anymore. I also look at things like, if we go to client sentiment, client sentiment's obviously live now. It's 52% short. Okay, so it's about even Stevens as regards that. If we go to the Euro USD, we can have a look at the Euro USD, look at the client sentiment. Yeah, it's 71% short, which is what it was this morning. So normally, it doesn't always work, but I take factors into consideration. Most traders are wrong, so I want to be the other side of that. So there are many factors to consider. So even though it's a simple strategy, and you'll see many variations of the London breakout strategy, there are many factors to consider, and say it can be pound US or Euro US, but you have to take all things into consideration. But anyway, yeah, if you want to see many more of my London breakout strategies, which get approximately 20 pips a day, then subscribe to Running Trade and you'll see many more of these videos. And I try to upload at least once a week, both winners and losers, and try to explain my analysis and why they went right and why they went wrong. But yeah, pop along to Running Trade, subscribe there, and you'll see more of these videos, and I'll see you on the next one.